Welcome back to Guardians Reborn. Today we have a special treat. We have a opened box of Necropolis Park. We have 55 out of 60 packs. And we are going to go through. First we'll look at the box. Let's get these packs out of the way. Alright, so box is a little seen better days, but it's still a Necropolis Park box, so I'm not going to complain too much. So we see the top, kind of Jurassic Park looking thing. Necropolis Park is all about undead, Egyptian theme, and dinosaurs. So it's all types of fun here. So we have the front here. So far Western, it's Eastern expansion. 8 cards per pack, 60 packs per box. Limited edition. Well, they didn't do a reprint or a revised edition of this, so limited edition works. So we have these guys on the front here. We got a mummy on this side. We got some more in the back. There's dinosaur. And we got over here. Now, the fun thing about FPG products is they always had something fun on the bottoms of the box. The limited and revised edition boxes had warning labels on them. The Dagger Isle has a chili recipe on it and a super huge barcode. And this one has a paper doll cutout system for the supermodel. And we can read this. And let me see, angle this. It says, we at FPG value the opinion of you, the consumer. Recently, it has been brought to our attention that there is a segment, however minute, of the gaming community who finds the attire of our female characters to be, shall we say, somewhat lacking in the functionality department. In the interest of pleasing all of the people, all of the time, we present this fine example of blatant toadyism and political correctness. Enjoy. And then off to the side we have instructions. Step 1. Cut out the supermodel and her various accessories, thus trashing your mint condition box and rendering it worthless. Asterisk. Down at the bottom. Solution. Buy 2 boxes. Can't argue with that. Step 2. Amuse yourself for hours upon hours by mixing and matching the various accessories. Create your own supermodel fashion show for your friends. You can even make new clothes for her if you wish. Step 3, get a life. And I don't know why this is not focusing. Okay. Well. So you see you have options of different clothes and paper doll. But that's not what we're here for, right? We're not here for the box. We're here for the cards. So, the interesting thing about this set is, first off, it's small. It's only 102 cards. Secondly, there are multiple different rarities available. There's a uncommon 1, uncommon 2, uncommon 3, a common 1, and a common 2. And what that means is, on the sheet of uncommon cards, the uncommon 1s were printed 1 time on that entire sheet. Uncommon 2s were printed twice on the sheet, and uncommon 3s were printed 3 times on the sheet. On the common pages, the common 1s were printed once per common sheet, and the common 2s were printed obviously twice per common sheet. And the common sheets were printed twice as often as a common. So that gives us a weird breakdown where the rarest cards are uncommon 1s, or U1s. Uncommon 2s and common 1s are actually the same rarity. They're just printed on different sheets. Uncommon 3 is next in line, and common 2 is the most common cards that we're going to see. So, without further ado, let's grab a pack, and we'll see what's in here. First, we can look at the pack itself. Boosters, Necropolis Park. Welcome to the true past. This Necropolis Park booster pack contains 8 gaming cards, which you can add to your Guardians deck. Suggested retail price of $1.89. And if you care, their internet address is fpgqna@aol.com. Yeah, this is from the 90s. Everybody had an AOL account. Heck, the CDs were free and they gave you free time every month. So, all right, so let's open this first pack and let's see what we get. Let's get this out. All right, so first we have a Mohidra, Mistress of Souls. She is a common 2. And we have Morb's Revenge. Morb's Revenge is also a common 2. Next up is Dead Cats. Dead Cats is a common 2. The other fun thing is, this is Champs the Wonder Dog from the Dagger Isle set. So that's always fun. Pharaoh de Josser. And the Pharaoh is a common 2. Okay. Knocknaga. Knocknaga is a common 2 as well. So I think our uncommon hit's going to be in the back here. Voodoo Hat Rack. I think I spoke too soon. Nope, Voodoo Hat Rack is a common 2. Rybeaner. Here we go. Maybe. I'm sorry, I'm looking at my list here. Rybeaner is our uncommon 2. So we'll set aside our uncommon. And we have Dork Age. Dork Age is an uncommon 2 as well. So it looks like we get 6 commons and we get 2 uncommons per pack. So we can take a look at some of these, because these are uncommon to run across. So Voodoo Hat Rack. Play during the terrain settlement phase. For each Power Stone you burn, discard 1 accessory or Voodoo Hat Rack from play. The Hat Rack works versus any type of Voodoo Hat Rack in play. Or Voodoo Hat. So this basically is going against other accessories or hat racks in play. You can get rid of your opponent's hat rack. I don't know how often these were used. Knocknaga, +3 vitality in jungle, immune to fear. Now, jungle is a U3, so it's fairly easy to find a jungle. But bribable by beer, 4 vitality, 1 off-color bonus, can't accept channeling. Pharaoh Jostler. No spells may be played during this combat. This ability cannot be dispelled, and he's an undead. This is awesome because it stops the dispel magics from being played. And also stuff like Ice Storm and all types of weird spells that this is good stuff, especially for a command card. Dead Cats. When Dead Cats is in play and beaten, all of your creatures gain +2 vitality. He's got a 3. So you play him early, and when he dies, everything else you play is +2 vitality. So that's pretty fun. And he's undead and an animal. Morb's Revenge. Dispels any spell or magic item that Brahm painted. Check the artist's credit line. In addition, the caster of the spell must discard 2 double-bordered cards. So, if we look at the backs of the cards, we see single border cards are creatures and terrain and shields. Double border cards are your spells and your hand artifacts, hand items. So what this is saying is we need to look, oh, perfect. Mohidra, Mistress of Souls. If we look at the bottom here, let me see if this will zoom. All right. Right next to the 1996, it says Brahm. So Brahm painted this. Morb's Revenge. Oh, it's a spell or magic item that Brahm painted. But that's where you would find the artist for these cards. and also the single and double bordered. And Mohidra, Mistress of Souls, add the base vitality of your opponent's previous matchup creature to Mohidra's vitality, because she has a 0. So basically what she does is she takes up 4 spots under your shield, but if your opponent plays something huge, like a Pink Flamingos that's a 29, she can turn into a 29 for space of 4. But if your opponent played something small, like Dead Cats for a 3, you probably want to hold out for playing her until they play something bigger. Dork Age. Here's a spell. And it was done by Ken Kelly. Play as a command card. Your creatures win any primary matchups in which they are beaten by more than 10 point vitality unless the matchup opponent is a guardian. So if you have a bunch of tiny creatures, your opponent has large creatures, you're getting beaten by 10, 11 points, you win the matchup because if the vitality difference is 10 or greater. That's always fun. And Rybeaner. Rybeaner's interesting because he has a negative vitality. What this does is it allows you to have extra space under a shield. So you normally have 30 vitality under a shield or 25 under a shield terrain card. If you put Rybeaner under that shield, you can actually have 5 additional vitality. He must be played as your command card, and his command ability is 3-point fire AoE that affects your own combat hand. So you hit yourself for 3 points of AoE fire, but you can have some creatures that are immune to fire and whatnot, or just make sure that 3 points doesn't knock anything out. But fun card to have. So let's go for our next pack. I won't spend too long on every pack, just for the first couple, so we can see what's going on here. This one doesn't want to open. Come on. Oh, I see something fun right off the bat. We have the Silver Server. He's one of the O-Men. Not the X-Men, the O-Men. Silver Server is a common 2. Plus 3 vitality when fighting on a terrainless disputed land space. Not sure how that would happen, but okay. Slim Jab. There's a whole bunch of text there. Slim Jab is our common 2. 1-point ranged attack that is only usable when fighting an external, which would be black. Opponent must discard 1 double-bordered card when Slim Jab is used as a ranged attack. So basically, you would play him as your ranged attack when you do primaries, and then your opponent would, oh, looks like we got us. Well, I have no double-bordered cards in this, so we'll go back to Morb's Revenge, which is double-bordered. And as well, if you played Slim Jab as a ranged attack, your opponent would have to discard a double border card, so you can get rid of Dispel Magics and all other types of fun stuff with that. Heliopolis Temple of Ray. This is our magic item. This is also a common 2. Play next to your Guardian. Place 1 token on the temple each time one of your creatures beats an undead opponent in the combat. You may remove a token from the temple during any matchup to add 2 vitality to your current matchup creature. So the more undead you kill, the more this powers up, and then you can spend tokens off this to give +2 to your other creatures in combat, which is always fun to surprise your opponent with, especially if your opponent likes to play undead decks, and I know there's a couple people that are trying to make undead decks actually work, so that would be an interesting card to play against them. The Chant of the Osirans. Common 2. Play immediately after up cards are revealed. If your opponent's up card is an undead, opponent's up card goes to his discard pile, along with the next 4 cards in his draw deck. Opponent then draws another up card, limit 1 per turn. Again, your opponent's playing an Undead deck, make him discard his up card and top 4 cards, and then draw a new up card. That's lots of fun. Mokodabi. Mokodabi is a common 2. Sorry, I keep pausing because I'm looking at my list. 5 vitality. Command ability. Opponent must discard any 1 medium-sized creature of his choice from his combat hand before primary matchups. Just straight up. So it's a large creature and it's flying. But if your opponent has Pharaoh Josser and for some reason doesn't use it as a command ability, and he would have to discard this. We see Pharaoh Josser, and we have Necropolis Park. This, I believe, is the middle piece. So we'll set this aside and see how many of those we get to complete. Necropolis Park actually is a uncommon 2, and Scarab of Bounty. Scarab of Bounty is also an uncommon 2. Play next to your Guardian. +1 to your Guardian's lowest up card for as long as the Scarab is in play. If a Scarab of Bounty is in play, no others may be played. Costs 1 stone. So it costs 1 stone, and usually lowest up card, you know what? I forget what that ability usually is. But you get +1 to your draw for having the lowest up card. So that's always good. More card draw, the better. Put that in our uncommon stack. All right. Sneaky Varmint. If Sneaky Varmint survives its primary matchup, which is only a 3, opponent must discard 1 random card from his creature pen if possible. So if somehow he survives, which can happen, you could play something to, I forget the name of the card now, that allows him to receive channeling, and you could channel and make him a 6 to surprise your opponent. Or you could end up bribing your opponent's creature, make this unmatched. However you can do to survive the primary matchup or ranged attack. Ranged attack would do it as well. Then your opponent has to discard a random card from his creature pen. So that's always good because in your creature pen is where during your movement and organization is where all your creatures go. That's where bribed creatures go. That's also where terrain cards are. So that's a good thing to get them to discard something random from there. Nubian Slave Girl. 2 vitality, lots of text. When played in a primary matchup, this really needs to focus better. When played as a primary matchup, you may choose to have the Slave Girl destroyed, ending the matchup and leaving your opponent as an unchallenged card in melee. You may then add a gold bribery card from your discard pile to your storage depot. So basically, if you want to get a gold bribery card back, you would play this and during primary matchup, you would just say, okay, well, I'm just going to blow this card up and grab a gold bribery from my discard pile. Morb's Revenge. And if we look, Morb is Braum backwards. Dugop the Greedy. +1 vitality to each other creatures. +1 vitality for each of your other creatures for each of their bribery icons while Dugop is in play. So if he has 2 bribery. So if you played a second one of these, he would get a +2 vitality. Pirates have all 3 briberies, so they would get a +3 across the board. So that's interesting to have. High Priest of Sethos. Both players must immediately discard all double-bordered cards as their command ability. This can get really bad and really gross really quick if your opponent doesn't Dispel Magic this. Sicarius, 1-point range attack, which also forces opponent to discard 1 creature magic item on the space. So if you're playing with some creature magic items, I can't think of any off the top of my head. do this as a 1-point range attack, and they have to get rid of it. Scamp Jones. Scamp Jones is an uncommon 2. And he has -3 vitality, which, as we saw with the Ruidan, allows you to add extra vitality under a shield. It must be played as your command card, and it does nothing. The command ability is it does nothing. The funny thing about these 2 cards is they say they must be played as your command card. I gotta get more centered. Sorry. But they also have huge off-color bonuses and all the briberies. And they can receive channeling. All that means nothing because they must be used as your command card, so you're not doing anything. And we have another Necropolis Park as a U3 or uncommon 2, and it's the exact same piece. So, yay! Let's find the rest of this thing. All right, we're 20 minutes in, and I'm 3 packs in. So let's speed this up because there's 55 packs. Okay. I don't want to have like another hour video that, Sneaky Varmint, Priestess of Isis, +1 vitality for each single border card in your combat hand when Priestess is played. So if you have a whole bunch of little creatures to go with her, you would have a big combat hand. As you see, creatures are single bordered. So you would get a whole bunch of bonuses for her. Slim Jab again. Warwick's Conversion. Play during primary matchup. The creature you just played switches to any other creature class of your choice for the remainder of combat. So if your opponent has something against Undead and you're playing an Undead deck, make it not an Undead anymore. Simple as that. Mayor Mcevil. This is poking fun at Taco Bell. 2-point AoE methane attack. 1 point for each barnyard animal immediately discarded from your combat hand. So this would go back to the barnyard deck and Farmer Brown, where you would just blow up animals to blow up your primary matchups. I don't really see this being useful because it's only 5 vitality. And you're only getting +1 for each barnyard animal you discard. I'd rather use Farmer Brown and blow them up to win your primary matchups. Slackback check. The slackback must be beaten by 3 or more points, or the result is a push. And Embryonic Witch says, as a command ability, you win all pushes. So, and it's a 10. So your opponent has to have a 13 or higher against this. So that's actually really cool. High Priestess of Isis. This one here, I believe... Nope, this is a U3. Change the creature class of any of your opponent's mortals to that of your choice during primary matchups. So this will allow you to get more favorable matchups if you're trying to go against Undead or trying to go against the Dinosaurs or trying to go against anything else. And we have the Rocks of Ruidan. The Rocks of Ruidan are U3s, so these are fairly common. Counts as both mountains and dry heaps terrain. Only Guardians may channel into combat on this space and at -3 CMP per stone. So that's if you know your opponent's playing a heavy channeling deck, -3 CMP hurts because a lot of Guardians are only like a 6 for their CMP. So this cuts it in half for what they can send per stone. Trying to only stop if we find something new. Like I said, it's a small set. It's only 102 cards. Okay. Fanbearer. If the Fanbearer's primary matchup opponent is a creature capable of flying, that creature immediately returns to the creature pen. So it's basically being bribed. If it's a flying creature, it's basically a free bribe without having a bribery. Odious Clamjack. 2-point AoE plus 1 point to the AoE for every swamp in play. This would go with, I believe it's Tukul that gets bonuses for swamps that are in play. Dugop again. Thebe, Master of Scribes. Command ability. If your opponent's command card is a spell or item, Thebe gains the command ability and opponent's command spell or item is dispelled. So basically, if you play a command card that's a item or a spell, he copies it and you lose yours. That's kind of mean. Kurgan, the Blade Master of the Exiled. I believe this is the one that has the longest name of any Guardians card at like 33 characters. He is a knight, so knight's decks he'd be able to fit in. If this card is the only knight in play, add +4 to his vitality and he's immune to fear. So you play him first and he's a 9 vitality. Because after primary matchups, it doesn't matter. We have another Slackback check. Lucinda Evil Hornbag. Okay, so there's 3 of these hornbags. Let me find out what's back here real quick. Lotus Flower Water Garden. Stronghold upgrade. Spend 1 stone to cancel the effect of any accessory as the accessory is used. So, goes back to like the Voodoo Hat Rack and stuff to cancel out accessories. So there are 3 of these different horn bags. This one says, if Lucinda survives her primary matchup, your opponent must show all double-bordered cards in their storage hand and discard all of his gold bribery cards. There's a horn bag that hits Babe's bribery, and there's one that hits beer bribery. And this one hits the gold bribery. So those are fun. Let's see. Lucinda is a U2, and what was our Lotus Flower? The Lotus Flower Water Garden is a U2. All right, so we have a Sicarius dinosaur, Slave Girl. Gift of Osiris. This is an accessory. Okay. Play next to your Guardian. Your Guardian is +3 vitality for as long as Gift of Osiris is in play. If a Gift of Osiris is in play, no others may be played. So +3 vitality to a Guardian. Seems good. Geldspar, Court Magician. Gotta love the pack art card, right? While Geldspar is in play, your opponent may not play any hand magic items. Seems good. The old switcheroo. Play when one of your shields is attacked. Before creating your combat hand, you may switch the shield and its contents with any of your unturned shields. Both shields involved in the switch end the combat turned. Cost 1 stone to use. So basically, if your opponent's trying to hunt down one of your shields, you can play this and switch it with one of your unturned shields and make him fight something he's not expecting. That's fun. Sneaky Varmint again. Okay, here's Buffy, the evil hornbag. And she's the one that goes after beer. And Buffy is a U2. Total Chaos. Total Chaos is a U1. These are the cards that everyone's looking for. There's a lot of text on that, isn't there? Play before command cards are shown. Roll a d6. On a 3 or more, your opponent plays your combat hand and you play his. Secondary attackers must be played against unbeaten creatures, if possible. After combat, give the cards back before determining control of the space. So basically, you swap shields. You swap your combat hand with your opponent. So if your opponent is coming at you with a huge shield and you only have like one weenie creature, play this. And if you get a 3 or more, swap hands. You can take his massive shield and then smash. Okay, 30 minutes and we are still on our first stack. All right. We got the Minx. The Minx, if the Minx's primary matchup opponent is bribable by babes, the Minx immediately returns to your combat hand. Opponent's creature remains as an unchallenged card in melee. Don't know why you would do that. Gift devices, play next to another accessory. Play next to your Guardian. Your Guardian's CMP is increased by 2 for as long as this is in play. And if gift device is in play, no others may be played. The Exalted, or the Exile. Oh, what do we got here? Look, we have Eisenmere. We have a Guardian. Master of Possessions. 26 Vitality, 3 Draw, -1 least disputed lands, +0 most disputed lands, and +1 lowest up card. 5 stones, 7 CMP. So that accessory that gives you +1 for lowest up card, you would actually have +2 for lowest up card. And then we just had the card for plus CMP. So, good times. Oh, here we go. 2 nice things in one pack. Clergy Ann, this is a promo card for Dark Age. This takes a common 2 spot, which is where we found it. Eisenmere is actually a common 1. So common 1s are like uncommon 2s that are the second rare. Clergy Ann's always nice. Oh, always a nice one to see pop up. People still look for these because they're only in these packs. And then we have Judge Dredge, who's another O-Man. If this combat takes place on a swamp, you gain 1 Power Stone. Meh. And another Scamp Jones. All right, we have another Helioptus. Okay, here's one that needs... I was just reading on this card, actually. So it's Tavimor, First Called. She's a 5-point ranged attack. Also, add the sum of the unmodified point totals of any other ranged attacks already played in this matchup into Tavimor's ranged attack. So, if you play something like, say, a Thunderbird, that's 13-point range attack, and then you play her as a 5-point range attack, she would get 5 plus 13, so that'd be an 18-point range attack using her. And they stack. So, greenback check, straight up destroys small creatures. Mummy, fear-based attack. During primary matchups, if the mummy beats a creature which is affected by fear, that creature is destroyed. You are first. Play during movement and combat phase. Pick an opponent's unturned shield. Opponent must use that shield during their next movement option. So you make your opponent use the shields. Sicarius. Another Lucinda. And Guardian Angel. Guardian Angel is a U3. During primary matchups, you may return any of your beaten creatures to your creature pen before the next primary matchup begins for 1 Power Stone per creature. So you can start saving your creatures. This would be fun for Thunderbirds. Because after a Thunderbird does a 13-point range attack, it's destroyed. So you pay 1 stone and put it back. Good times. And we're at 34 minutes. It's still in the first stack. All right. Mummy, you are first. Sicarius. Slave Girl. Osiris. Gelspar. All right. Ballot, the third call. Similar to Tavamore, except for hers is 2-point ranged attack, and then it adds all the other ranged attacks. Shadow Beer Heist. Shadow Beer Heist is a U3. When an opponent plays a beer bribery card, the bribery is canceled and you get the bribery card until end of combat. If you do not use the bribery card by end of combat, it is discarded to the owner's discard pile. So if they try to bribe your creatures with beer, you steal their beer and you can use it against them. This is a double bordered card, so anything that affects double bordered would affect this. I might break this into 2 or 3 videos just to get it so people can digest these. Iron Force of Sethos. Play immediately after up cards have been revealed. No stones may be spent for items or spells until the next movement and combat phase. Hamina destroys Saurians. Saurians are the dinosaurs. Vitality of 1. Mayor McGreed. Another food pun. This is not the McDonald's one, I don't think. I think this is the Burger King. Yeah, this is the Burger King one. Command ability, you can use any gold bribery card in your storage hand as a ranged attack with a point value equal to its up card number, but only if your primary matchup creature is a barnyard animal. Interesting. Gift of Isis. Priestess of Isis. Tiny Whining Cankered. This is actually a common 1, a C1, so this is actually one of the second highest rarity. There's actually I don't know if it's counted as a misprint or there's a variation on this where there's 2 little red ink smears and it's on like a whole bunch on one of the sheets. So there's actually this and the red smudged one. +5 vitality versus creatures which are immune to fear. The Tomb of Bolzuru counts as both swamps and woods. And the tomb is a U3 and another Guardian Angel, which is a U3. Let me see if I can quickly find. This is the Tiny Whining Cankered with the ink smear. Versus the one that we just pulled, which does not have the ink smear. All right, let's keep going. Come on. Slim Jab. Warwick's Conversion, Mayor Mcevil. Or gotta love doubles in the same pack, right? Alright, Shadow Panty Raid. This is a U3. Basically, when you play when an opponent plays a Babe's Bribery, you get the bribery card and you get to use it for that turn. That is a U3. And we have a Sebek, Queen of Magicians. Sebek is a U1, so this is another good hit. Command ability, immediately discard any 1 spell from your storage hand to add 1 spell from your draw deck to your storage hand, reshuffle your draw deck. So basically, if you're digging, this will tutor a spell for you. You discard a spell, go through your deck, find a spell that you want. That deserves a U1, yes. All right, Hat Rack. This will get rid of all those accessories we've been seeing that gives bonuses to your Guardian and prevents you from playing them. Evil Baron Stoner. The Baron adds his matchup opponent's off-color bonus to his vitality. So here's the off-color bonus. And whatever that is, it gets added to his 3. Bachumba. Okay, this is one of my favorite cards just because of the name, and it's a huge dinosaur. Okay? It's a 22 vitality, so you're not going to be able to put much with it under a 30 vitality shield. If Bachumba loses primary matchup, your command card is destroyed if it is a creature. But it's also got an 11 off-color bonus. So while off-color bonus does not... You don't get the off-color bonus versus Guardians. Since this set deals a lot with Undead, there's a lot of the externals of the black. So this turns into essentially a 33 if your opponent's playing like an Undead deck. These are fun. And hey, look there. Tiny Whiny Cankard with the Ink Smear. Eater of the Dead. All creatures on both sides beaten during primary matchups are destroyed. So that's important because that prevents secondary attacks. And it also, when there are secondaries, your opponent doesn't get the bonuses for having the primary matchup. It's always fun. Festus, another card that has a variant. Okay. I don't have another one of these handy. So Festus, when fighting monsters, when fighting in mountains, Festus destroys externals. So any of the gray bordered. The print differential is this one has the number 0 in black. The other one has it in white. So both of them are available in packs. We have another Rocks of Ruidan. And a Chief Lector, Priest of Sethos. Chief Lector is a U3. I thought he was higher than that. Change the creature class of any of your undead creatures to one of your choice until the end of primary matchups. Not terrible. Especially if your opponent's playing an anti-undead deck. Okay. Exiled. Chant. Another Isomere. Another Clergy Ann. Hey, look, there's our print variation. We have Festus with the off-color bonus printed in white versus black. Iron Force, Buffy, and Total Chaos. So this is another U1, and it's a double. Yay. I'm hoping to get some more hits on these U1s. I mean, we have a ton of packs, so we should be able to get something, right? Okay, Priestess of Isis. Knowing Smear. Limited Big Time Rebate. Okay. Another spell. Play immediately after up cards are revealed. You get half of the power stones you spend this turn, rounded up, back at the end of the terrain settlement phase. The spell may be only played once per player per turn. So if you have stuff that you know you're going to burn a bunch of stones to do, like Handel's O'Rourke, 3-point ranged attack for every stone that you burn. If you want to just go nuts and burn a bunch of stones with him, you get half of them back. Fatback Check, Silver Server, Slim Jab, Lucinda, and Guardian Angel. Nothing fancy. Slackback Check, Hamana Hamana, Oryx, Gorako. Gorku, sorry. Ranged attack causes your current Saurian matchup creature to gain its off-color bonus if it did not already get it. So what this would do is if you're playing a dinosaur deck, you would get your off-color bonus even if your opponent isn't the color to normally get it. Another one of those. Yeah. Lucinda, Guardian Angel. Didn't we just get these? Yes, we did. That was the last pack's uncommons. Alright. Going a little bit faster now. I think we've seen most of the commons already. Ooh. This should be a hit. Yes, this is a U1. Emotep, Vizier of Josser. If Emotep wins primary matchup, he's only got a vitality of 4. You can take any one accessory already in play from a chosen opponent and put it in play next to your Guardian. If the accessory is removed from play for any reason, the accessory goes to your opponent's discard pile. So when you play the accessories, it prevents your opponent from playing a copy of that accessory. Emotep says if you win a matchup somehow, then he can just straight up steal your opponent's accessory. That's always fun. And the Death Pit of Josser. Death Pit is a U2. Stronghold upgrade. You may place one undead creature face up in the Death Pit during your draw and organize phase. Now, for a command ability, spend 1 power stone to add the undead from the pit to your combat hand, but only if the combat takes place in one of the 2 spaces directly in front. So you can basically put an undead in here and then go do combat, and he can pop out for either one of the 2 spaces directly in front of it. It's not bad, because it removes him from the equation of creatures under that shield. So you could have you could have this 5 and have, because this is an undead, you could put Eater of the Dead on there, and then you'd have a shield of essentially 35 for that turn. So, see, we got these, this. Champs Wonder Dog, Pharaoh. Alright, Jungle. This is Jungle. No command cards during combat. Very interesting. It depends on what you're playing against and what you're playing. Sometimes this, for the people who love playing with Jinn and Embryonic Witch, this would hurt them. Very much so. Embryonic Witch is a command card. It says you win all pushes. Jinn has a ranged attack. It says this combat is a push. So those 2 together would mean that you win any combat. This would stop that real quick. And High Priestess of Isis. This is a U3. And I think we've seen this before. Change the creature class of your mortals, your opponent's mortals. Yeah, I think I'm going to do this in 3 shots. Or 3 videos. Mokodabi, Pharaoh, Master Scribe, Odious, Jamandu. +1 vitality for each primary matchup which has occurred in this combat so far. So you play him last, he's already a 10, and he gets extras for how long you held out. Shadow Bank Job. When an opponent plays a gold bribery, you get that card, and you can use that bribery. And we have Kutek, which is the other Guardian from this set. And Kutek is... What is Kutek? I'm not seeing Kutek on my list. Interesting. Anyway, other Guardian. During the draw and organize phase, draw an extra card for each shield you have lost from play during this game. So this is cumulative for the game. 28 vitality, only 2 is your base draw. It doesn't matter anything else. Your least disputed, most disputed lands, lowest up card, you don't get any bonuses. You're just getting a 2. 7 stones, which is pretty good, and a 7 CMP. Not sure how that would be useful, though. And Vestibule of Kabod. This is a U1, so we're another hit. The Vestibule allows you to ignore 1 small demon or devil from counting towards the space's vitality limit. Limit 1 per space per player. Okay. So if it's a demon or devil and they're small sized, you don't have to count their vitality when you're building your shield. But you're only allowed to do this once. I like that. Not sure how I'd use it, but that's pretty good. Oh, here we go. Bachumba. Plague Walker. Fear-based attack, +2 to all fear-based attacks when Plague Walker is in play. Not sure how many other fear-based attacks there are. Okay. Shield. 15. There's also a... Oh, what's the other one? A 5. So there's only 2 shield designs, or shield up cards for this set. Tavimor, Old Switcheroo, Eater of the Dead. What do we got back here? Jin Shade, second called, 3-point, and then add the sum of the previous ranged attacks. And McHooter's Distractions. This, I believe, is a U1. Yes, it is a U1, so this is another hit. Play as a command card, so here's a spell being played as a command card. All creatures on this space, bribable by babes, can't fight and don't count towards control of the space. Place them off to one side. They can still be attacked by secondary attackers, cost 1 stone to use. So any of your opponent's creatures, actually on both sides, get set aside, and you can attack them with ranged attacks. You can attack them with secondary attackers. You can attack them however you want, and they can't do anything about it. So, another U1. Okay, so we are at 1 hour, or 51 minutes. I'll go ahead and stop this, and then make a part 2 and probably part 3. Hopefully, it won't be as bad, since we're getting through a good portion of this. So, to be continued in like a second.